He understood power better than the men who held it. That was the problem. He wasn't watching from the outside. He had worked inside the machinery of the state, negotiating, observing, calculating. He saw how decisions were really made, not as they were announced, but as they were arrived at. And then he lost his position, not through incompetence, not through rebellion, through political rotation. Suddenly, the man who understood leverage, timing, fear, and loyalty had no authority to act on any of it. Others now held power without understanding it, and he understood power without holding it. That imbalance is unbearable, because insight without agency doesn't feel like wisdom. It feels like paralysis. The consequences didn't arrive as punishment. They arrived as erasure. Doors stopped opening. Messages went unanswered. Conversations continued without him. Power has a quiet way of moving on. Those who replaced him didn't need his clarity. They needed affirmation. Certainty travels faster than accuracy, and confidence sounds convincing even when it's wrong. He watched decisions being made with the same confidence he recognized as dangerous. Policies hardened into positions. Positions turned into identity. And once identity takes over, correction becomes an insult. He was still invited occasionally, not to decide, but to observe. Observation without influence is its own humiliation. To be close enough to see the mistake and far enough away to be blamed for nothing creates a specific kind of pressure. Because if the outcome fails, you'll be told you didn't speak loudly enough. And if it succeeds, your silence will be taken as agreement. Either way, relevance disappears. The system had no place for a man who saw too clearly and belonged nowhere. Power prefers loyalty over perception. It tolerates competence. It resists insight that cannot be controlled. And so his understanding, once shaped by proximity to authority, began to harden in isolation. Not because he wanted to challenge power, but because power had already decided it didn't need to be understood. What the world didn't see was that what clarity did to him in private. Insight without agency doesn't stay neutral. It sharpens. Every realization arrived with nowhere to go, and pressure accumulated in the mind instead of dispersing through action. He noticed the change, not in his thinking, but in his temperament. Patience thinned, not because he lacked discipline, but because waiting without purpose exhausts restraint. When you see the pattern clearly and are unable to intervene, every repetition feels personal. Each mistake made by others sounds louder than it should. Each confident assertion built on weak understanding feels intolerable. Clarity begins to harden into contempt. Not outwardly, but inwardly. Because without agency, insight turns inward and begins to judge its host. The mind replays scenarios that no longer matter. Arguments sharpen that will never be spoken. Strategies refine themselves for rooms you will never re-enter. This is the quiet corrosion. Not anger, not bitterness, but a narrowing of emotional range. He understood something few men ever name, that seeing power clearly does not make you powerful. It makes you restless. Because clarity wants alignment. And when alignment is impossible, the mind looks for compensation. Meaning distorts. Judgment loses generosity. And distance from decision slowly replaces accuracy with certainty. This is the hidden danger of exclusion. Not that you stop thinking clearly, but that clarity begins to justify itself. And once clarity becomes identity, The world no longer needs to ignore you. You've already separated yourself from it.